Welcome back to the channel, guys. In my last video I took you through an example of a weekly shop for myself as a professional triathlete. Now today we're taking that a step further and we're going through not only a full day of training but a full day of eating and how I use those foods to make sure I perform as best as I possibly can for a pretty hard training day today. Actually, we've got a hard threshold swim and a pretty mega long turbo. I think it's roughly 6 hours of training today, and there's a lot of intensity. So we need to fuel up, we need to be ready, and let's get this thing going. Big bowl of yog, granola, and fruit. That'll go down nicely with my black coffee. Also got some water here, but with breakfast I always have my morning supplements. Now I go with this is quite basic, just vitamin C tablet. I will also have a multivitamin with iron. Apparently I'll have one of those as well. I will also have zinc. Apparently that's meant to be quite good for people recovering from COVID, because I had that really badly recently. Yeah, I thought I'd get on and introduce that. I've got some omega-3s, really good for brain function, supposedly. So been having those. And last but certainly not least, vitamin D. If you're someone who lives in the UK, then I would suggest making sure you have vitamin D supplements. If you live somewhere sunny, then that's very good for you. I'm not jealous at all, but taking vitamin D, especially for someone like me who I'm looking to be at my highest level of fitness in December. That's gonna be like in the shittiest part of the year in the UK. It's gonna be rainy, it's gonna be horrible, it's gonna be dark. I'm not gonna see much sunlight for a while. So I don't want to have my immune system kind of depleted. So just keeping in some good vitamin D. These are my daily supplements that I will take just to make sure that everything's working as it should, and I will have this as I enjoy my lovely breakfast. Threshold swim now at Bath Uni in the 50-metre pool. It's only gonna be two of us actually, myself and Connor in the lane, because we've got Leon who is out in Ibiza for the T100, and then Freddie who's out in France, and we'll be joining him next week for my next race, which is super exciting because I haven't raced in Swansea. So it feels like it's been a while. And actually today is my last kind of hard day before tapering, which is super exciting as well. It's been a very big block of training, and obviously the last day of it today is actually a little bit daunting, the bike session later. I'm a little bit scared, but that's even more reason why the fueling is really important, because I'm obviously going into today pretty depleted after, you know, weeks of working well, working hard, and this is the last kind of big session, big day before tapering, before next weekend, and so I want to make sure I smash it. I want to make sure I'm good. I've had a good breakfast and I've got a few of these guys for the swim. I want to make sure I fuel up appropriately for the swim, during the swim, because I'm going into it, like I said, depleted, but I've also got a really big bike session afterwards, which, like I said, I'm a little bit scared of, and I want to make sure that I don't really feel empty or crappy, especially before the bike session. So staying fueled up, staying on top of things like this is really important, especially when you're at the back end of a block, and you've got a lot of training for the rest of the day. You don't want to be going into your reserve energy sources, just want to be staying on top of it, and if anything at this point, more fuel is better than less. So let's try and get inside because it's pissing down. That swim was horrific. One of the worst swims I've done in my life, actually, I think. So I think this is a telltale sign that I'm coming to the end of the block, and I need to taper because the plan was threshold today, and I think I managed maybe 5 reps. It wasn't even like great times, great threshold.
and then I just fell off a cliff. And I was struggling to make a 130 turnaround, let's just put it that way. So the body's tired, and that makes me even more concerned about the bike session later, because if I can't do a threshold swim, well, maybe I can't do a 4.5 hour turbo with lots of intensity. So something to look forward to, I guess.
So this is stuff that we've got for lunch. Chicken thighs go in the air fryer. Honestly, I bang on about this air fryer so much, but I absolutely love it. I haven't used this oven for maybe, well, 4 months since I've had the air fryer, and to be honest, I'm thinking of getting rid of the microwave as well because I don't need it. Like, just the air fryer is so good. I feel like such a loser for banging on about having an air fryer because everyone seems to have one at the minute, but they're so good. Absolutely love that thing. So while that's getting cooked, we're gonna chop up some bits here. So chop up a bit of bacon, chop up this veg, fry it all off in here. Then gonna add some rice and add some sauce, and it's just going to be kind of a mixed veg, rice, chickeny, bacony type thing. And of course we need to add in the secret ingredient, Worcestershire sauce. And there she is, all my rice, all my veg, the tomato pesto, and then chopped up chicken thighs on top. What do you reckon? You'd love someone dribbling everywhere. Thanks for that. Yeah, it's quite a lot of food, but we do quite a lot of training, so we've got to get it down. And of course, trying to smash as much water as we possibly can. We're sweating a lot, we need to replenish it. Getting in some good electrolytes as well, just to make sure that I'm not only drinking coffee, because that's not good. Slight change of plan. Essentially, like I mentioned, the swim this morning felt pretty horrific. Didn't really meet much turnaround times, and actually my throat's not been feeling amazing. You know, like, and I think part of that's maybe mental. You know, I know I've got a race next weekend, and there is such thing as like a taper cold. Not that I've started my taper yet. However, as of 5 minutes ago, I sort of have because I messaged my coach, and I just feel like I'm really like on that cliff edge right now, and I don't want to push myself over. And a 4.5 hour really hard turbo could potentially put me in the absolute bin. Whereas the last few weeks I've worked really hard. I've got my fitness back to I think a good level. It's definitely not absolute peak performance, but that's not what I want anyway, because I want to save that for 70.3 Worlds. But I feel like I've got myself back in a good position, and doing a 4.5 hour turbo could potentially tip me over the edge, make me feel ill, be susceptible to another illness or something, or just pushing myself too far. Whereas if I don't do that, rest up, you know, I'm not going to get any fitter from it within, you know, a week within the race. So we've actually changed the plan today. So now today is a very small training day. So I've done the swim. Now we're going to rest up for the rest of the day. I'm going to have a fairly light weekend. We travel out on Monday, and then we're going to sharpen up for the rest of the week leading into that race. I'm going to document that on this channel. Now, some people might look at this and be like, "Oh, you're such a pussy. You should do it." This is where being sensible is a really good option, and having a coach is something that I would recommend. Someone that you respect and someone that can tell the difference between you just potentially not wanting to do something because it's hard, and not wanting to do something or shouldn't do something because you could tip yourself over the edge, you could get ill, injury, just get run down, stuff like that. And when I'm a week within my next race, I don't want to risk it. Even if it's in my head, I don't want to risk it. I do feel it a little bit, and you know, it could be all a mental thing, but I don't want to risk the next race. I really want a positive experience, really want a positive race, come off that and have a really good lead up to 70.3 Worlds. So we'll smash a coffee, we'll smash some admin because we've got plenty of admin to do, and then yeah, we'll document the rest of the eating today. But Friday's pretty much done, which is good. And just like that, it is dinner time. Now, this place is an absolute tip because I'm starting to get things ready to pack up and get away for this race in France. We're driving out, a few of us, so this actually isn't my bike. You probably wouldn't have seen this on the channel before. This is Max's bike who's coming out with us, and he's just out here supporting, which is amazing. But anyway, I'm starting to get things together. I do have quite a lot to do between now and actually leaving. So that's why today's dinner or supper, whatever you want to call it. Do you call it supper or do you call it dinner? I feel like if you're a bit more posh, you call it supper. I feel like a lot of people call it dinner, and then some people call it tea. But I'm like, tea's like a kind of mid-afternoon thing. Anyway, what do you call it? I'm interested to know in the comment section below. But anyway, not many people will be massively impressed with my dinner tonight because I'm going to have beans on toast. Can't go wrong with it. Now, I know it's not glamorous. I know it's nothing fancy. Could there be things that are better to eat? Absolutely. Is it the most nutritious meal in the world? No. But is it quick and convenient when you're busy and you've got other things to crack on with? Absolutely, yes it is. So, you know, that's one of those things where you sometimes have to maybe compromise when you've got other bits on. You're busy, it's still a very good meal, lots of protein. I'll get some other bits in, maybe kind of for dessert, I'll potentially have another yogurt bowl with some granola and some fruit, stuff like that. But yeah, nothing glamorous. I'm not going to show you guys what beans on toast looks like because I can imagine you do know what it looks like. So that's what I'll be having. And, you know, end of not a massive training day. It was supposed to be big, but it turned out quite small instead. But I'm really glad I made that decision because I think that's going to make me really ready and kind of firing on all cylinders for next weekend and not put me in an absolute bin. So I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Obviously, every day is slightly different, but that's kind of what I get up to. That's kind of how I fuel things. Dinner isn't always beans on toast, don't worry. You know, a lot of the time I will try and put in a bit more effort. It's just a bit of a time crunch this evening. And so, yeah, that's what I do. I'm sure there will be some interesting comments in the comment section. Please do share your comments in the comment section, and I look forward to seeing you guys on race week in the next video.